Hello and welcome to your 15th episode of Perfumery Log. It is March 4th today, and I am finally blending up something that I actually blended yesterday morning. I blended my 2 bottles of the ginger ale and the pre-mixed gin, and I liked it, and I'm kind of glad for this to be my personal bottle because it's the one made that way. But then one of my clients texted me and asked, "Oh, is it ready? Can I have a bottle?" So I'm blending up from the full recipe a second bottle of my Speakeasy perfume, except on a slightly different twist. This time I am choosing to do Speakeasy in a all blended from the original materials way, and I'm also turning up the mid notes to the maximum they can be, so that basically instead of being 6 ounces of ginger ale with 2 ounces of gin in it, like this version is, instead this version is going to be enough mid-note materials for 6 ounces of gin and enough mid-note materials for 6 ounces of ginger ale, but only enough of the ginger, juniper berry, and coriander for each of those to be about 3 ounces. So you'll have enough juniper for 3 ounces of gin, but enough cinnamon for 6 ounces. This will give the whole thing a much more intense mid-note in this version, and that way I'll have something that can be compared between the two. Check it out. Always start by starting up your scale and then tearing the weight of your vessel. Now I like to go from the bottom notes to the top notes here. So let's see here. We need 2 grams of vanillin. 0.9. 1.2, 1.5, 2.1, good enough. Okay, then 0.4 of a gram of ethyl vanillin. Ethyl vanillin is 5 times as powerful as regular vanillin, so you kind of have to be a bit more careful with it. Some ethyl maltol to make it sweet. I think 0.2 gram of this stuff. And that will do for our dry ingredients. Now to put 2 grams of this benzoin I just remade in it. Now, the benzoin is literally just remade yesterday, so this might be a bit dirty still. Okay, 2 grams of benzoin. That's 1.2. 1.6. Okay, then our liquids, and our base liquids. Now that we've added the sludgy base liquids at the bottom of the ginger ale accord, let's start adding our other materials here. Okay. Tear. Start with cinnamon bark. We need 0.4, 0.6 grams of cinnamon bark. 0.1, 0.3, 0.4, 0.6. Perfect. Then cinnamon leaf, we're going to need 0.4. 0.1, 0.3, 0.4. 0.4 of a gram of cinnamon leaf. Okay, cassia. 0.28 of a gram of cassia. Six. 0.28. Right on the nose. You're not allowed to use much cassia, so I have to be very, very careful with exactly how much goes in. Okay, next thing by weight would be 0.4 of nutmeg, 4 grams of nutmeg. Okay. Close enough. Okay. That gets first set done. Now the solids are starting to have enough to be able to dissolve a little bit at least. Still not dissolving completely, but okay. So the next thing would be anise. 2 grams of 10% anise. 0.4, 0.8, and 0.3, 1.7, 1.82. 2 grams of anise. Okay. 0.8 of a gram of cardamom. 2.55. 7. I'm going to have to make a fresh dilution here. I love the smell of cardamom so much that I invented a whole fragrance based mostly around just cardamom. Okay. On the top note, let's see, chamomile. Chamomile 0.4 gram. Close enough. Lavender, also 0.4 gram. This lavender is so aromatic. Okay. That would leave lemongrass at 0.3 of a gram. Ooh, that throws. Okay, lemongrass, angelica at 0.35 of a gram. You got to be really careful with the angelica because it will smell pissy and or pickled if you use too much of it. Underdosed the angelica a bit, but it's better to underdose angelica than overdose it. Okay, next 0.3 of 10% lemon. I'm getting there. Okay. Are we done with the small components? Not gonna need sweet orange at all. That leaves orange, lime, ginger. Okay, so we'll start with 1.5 grams of coriander. Coriander is where the lift in the perfume comes from. It isn't gin without coriander, of course, but it isn't much of a perfume throw-wise without the coriander either. Okay, so coriander, juniper berry, the 3 things you need to make a gin are, repeat after me, juniper, coriander, and angelica. Okay, so 2 grams of juniper. The smell of juniper berries reminds me of home. Okay, coriander, juniper. Not going to need 100% nutmeg. Okay, so top note ginger oil is cut down to okay, this vanilla is finally starting to dissolve in the water and not make it cloudy anymore, or in alcohol. Okay. Half a gram of this. And 1.4 of a gram of this lime oil, which has such a lovely color to it. And 2/3 of a gram bitter orange. It's got this lovely color to it. And how much ginger CO2? 2 grams. So I'm cutting down the ginger quite a lot relative to the original version because it was making me choke when the perfume was new. And I think a more choke-free perfume is desirable. 1.6. 9, 2.0, exactly. And that sank right through all the other layers. Okay, what's left? Did I get cardamom in already? Yes. Oh, rose. 8.6 of a gram of rose. Six of a gram of rose, I guess. Close enough. And YOLO, like 1/10 of a gram of capsicum into it. Stir. And swirl it all around until everything looks dissolved. And this is the juice for 60 ml of my gin buck fragrance, which I am going to need a funnel to put into the bottle to macerate overnight. In just a moment. This one's just going in my pre-labeled ginger ale bottle to macerate. Tear it out here. $22.25 grams of juice. And I will set this aside to macerate in the fridge for a little while, because none of these have been mixing in their alcohol for very long. And we will see how this does in comparison to the version I made out of the pre-made accords in our next episode.